Okay, so good morning to all. Now we will start today's discussion and it is about the astable multivibrator. So previously we have seen monostable multivibrator. So what is the difference between monostable and astable? That in monostable, one state is stable only and other state is partially stable. And what is about astable? So as its name also indicates that no state will be stable. So both states will be unstable in a stable multivibrator. In monostable there was one stable state, but here no state will be stable. So hence your output will vary, your output will keep oscillating between high state, low state, low state, high state continuously. Okay, so this is the main difference between output waveforms. So now at the output of astable multivibrator you will get a rectangular wave. We'll just draw it for you. So rectangular wave or square wave. So the output will be continuously on, off, high, low like this. In monostable, what you got at the output, only single pulse was there. So these are the different waveforms. Okay. And also another important thing about monostable, you have to apply the external trigger and then you will get the pulse. So monostable was also called as pulse generator. But now in astable multivibrator, we will see that no trigger is needed here. No external trigger is needed. Just you have to give one power supply, that is VCC, and after application of power supply, you will observe that at the output you will get constantly a rectangular or square wave. Okay. So this is regarding the stable multivibrator and its output. Now we will see few points regarding a stable multivibrator. So this is the circuit diagram of your astable multivibrator. Can any one of you mention what are the differences between the circuit diagram of astable and monostable? So I will just take a look at this particular diagram and I will just go back to the monostable circuit diagram. So you don't have to remember everything, just remember the differences. That's why the comparison is important. If you understand what are the differences between two circuits, then you can easily remember one and find out the other. Okay, so this is the, you can observe here RA, RB and capacitor. These are the external components. All right. So again, one important thing is 2 and 6. Pin number 2 and 6, these are short circuited. Right? Means pin number 6 and pin number 2 are joined together. So now I will just go back to the monostable circuit diagram and you can observe the difference. So here only one resistance was there and it was connected in between 4 and 7. Right? External trigger was there and there was no component connected between 6 and 7. Right? What are the 3 points? Only one resistor is there and it is also connected between 4 and 7. Okay. Then between 6 and 7 it is short circuited and external trigger was there. Now, what are the differences in astable? You can observe one resistor is there, no problem. The same resistor is here also, it is denoted by RA. So that RA is also connected between 4 and 7. So there is no problem, there is no difference here. But if you observe the pin number 6 and pin number 7, in monostable it was short circuit. Right? There was no resistance attached here. So this is the first difference, that the resistor RB is connected in between 6 and 7, pin number 6 and 7. Second difference is the trigger input, that is pin number 2, is joined together with pin number 6. or you can say that pin number 6 and pin number 2 are short circuited. So these are the two important differences between monostable and astable circuit diagrams. Alright. So the following figure shows IC555 connected as an astable multivibrator. The threshold input is connected to the trigger input. Threshold input is nothing but pin number 6 and trigger input is nothing but pin number 2. Right? They are joined together, connected together. Two external resistors RA/RB and capacitor C is used in this circuit. So you can observe here. Two resistors RA/RB and capacitor C is connected here. The circuit has no stable state. This is very important point. So what you will get at output, I have already told you your output will be rectangular wave, and continuously it will alternate from high state to low state, from low state to high state, from 0 to 1, 1 to 0. So the circuit has no stable state, it changes its state alternatively. Okay. Hence, due to this behavior, since it is changing its state alternatively, it is also called as free running oscillator. Okay, so a stable multivibrator is also called as free running oscillator, and monostable multivibrator is also called as pulse generator, right? And one shot multivibrator. So you should remember these names also. If the question has been asked like explain the working of free running oscillator, then you should be aware that free running oscillator is nothing but a stable multivibrator. Okay. So now we have understood that this is okay circuit diagram, and output also we have understood that it will be rectangular wave. Now we will see how exactly this rectangular wave we are obtaining at the output. So now we will discuss the working of a stable multivibrator using IC555. Okay. So again, in order to understand or explain the working, you are required to visit the block diagram. Now again, this is the same block diagram as we have studied in monostable multivibrator as well, with of course couple of changes. So first change was this, RB is introduced and it is between 6 and 7, and second difference was threshold and trigger are connected. So you can observe here two differences. Threshold pin and trigger is short circuited, that is connected together, and RB is connected from pin number 6, right? This is nothing but one connection. Okay, this is one point. This point is also point number 6. This point is also pin number 2. So you should remember that voltage across this capacitor is equals to threshold voltage, which is equals to again trigger voltage. So what is the important point here? That voltage across capacitor, because how will you measure the voltage across capacitor? In this fashion. So this voltage across capacitor is nothing but threshold voltage, which is nothing but trigger voltage. Okay. So again remember these points. And otherwise the diagram is similar to the monostable. So until now, if you are having any confusion or any doubt, then you can get it cleared. I will just wait for a couple of minutes, just observe this waveform, and then we will start the working. Okay. All right. So we will now start the working of a stable multivibrator using IC555. Again, it will be very okay. I got one question. How many times the both circuits are executed? How many times both circuits are executed? So as we have discussed that monostable multivibrator, in monostable multivibrator, the circuit will execute only once. When you apply the trigger, it will change its state and it will return back, okay, in monostable. But now here in astable multivibrator, as soon as you are providing the VCC to this circuit, है ना, जैसे ही आपने स्विच ऑन कर दिया पावर सप्लाई का, देन एट द आउटपुट यू विल गेट रेक्टेंगुलर वेव. कब तक? जब तक उसके पास सप्लाई है. ऑलराइट. So a stable multivibrator only needs the power supply and it will continuously generate the rectangular waveform, whereas monostable multivibrator needs external trigger. Is it okay? I hope. So now we will start the working of a stable multivibrator. So now again the same, we will go with the same flow. That is, first our assumption was the flip-flop is initially set. Okay, in monostable also we have started from that point, and again we are starting here from the same point, that initially flip-flop is set. That is, what will be the output then? Anyone? What will be the value of Q and Q bar if this flip-flop is in set mode?
The value of Q is 1 and Q bar 0.
Yes, very correct. Very good. So the value of Q will be 1 and Q bar will be 0. So currently we are in the low state. Okay. So now this Q is now 1, that is high. So what happens? It will also make the base of this transistor high. So since the base of transistor is high, this discharge transistor will act as a, will go into the saturation region, and hence in saturation it will act as a short circuit. So what happens due to that? Let's say there are some charges present in this capacitor, because the function of capacitor is to store charges. So let's assume that there are some charges already stored by the capacitor. Then what happens due to this short circuited current? So this capacitor will now discharge through this part. So this capacitor will discharge in this direction. As soon as this transistor becomes short circuited, it has found one loop, it has formed one loop from ground to ground. Right? Initially there was no connection from ground to ground. So hence it was charging. But as soon as it has found the ground, then what will happen? The capacitor will now start discharging. And the discharge path will be like this. So this also, behind this dotted, just you can assume here in the figure, these dotted arrows are nothing but a discharge path. Okay. So now remember what is the important point here, that if you observe the path of discharge, then there are two components, component C and component RB, right? So while discharging, your current will flow from, discharging current will flow from capacitor and RB. It is not flowing from RA. This is important observation. That means your discharge time, we will see what is discharge time. That means the time required by capacitor to discharge up to a certain point. So that discharge time is dependent on RB and capacitor C, the value of RB and capacitor C, right? So now what happens once it is starting discharge, once it is starting discharging in this fashion, then one moment, so discharge will be obviously, let's say discharge will be whatever the charge is stored here, and discharge will be towards 0 volt. It will be discharging completely. तो कैपेसिटर के अक्रॉस का जो भी वोल्टेज था वो कम कम होते जाएगा, डिस्चार्ज मतलब कम कम होते जाएगा, एंड इवेंचुअली वो कंप्लीट डिस्चार्ज होने के रास्ते पे है. You are moving from the whatever the value of charge stored, we are not knowing it, okay, we are not aware of this, and then it is going towards the complete discharge. So while going toward the complete discharge, that is while going toward the 0 volt, one moment will come when this particular voltage across capacitor will become 1 by 3 VCC. 1 by 3 VCC से कम होगा ना एक मोमेंट पे, कैपेसिटर के अक्रॉस का वोल्टेज विल बी slightly less than 1 by 3 VCC. Okay, just for the sake of assumption you can consider like this, that this capacitor is initially charged up to VCC. Okay, just for the sake of understanding. So now as it is, this capacitor is discharging in this direction, the voltage will vary from VCC to 0. So while going from VCC to 0, one moment will come when the voltage of capacitor will be slightly less than 1 by 3 VCC. Agree? Now what will happen? As soon as the voltage across capacitor become less than, slightly less than 1 by 3 VCC, then this voltage across capacitor is nothing but trigger voltage as well. Okay, so that means this trigger voltage will be also less than 1 by 3 VCC. Now we know that this point is nothing but 1 by 3 VCC. We have seen that this voltage divider network, that there are 3 resistors, and across each 3 resistors there will be 1 by 3, 1 by 3, 1 by 3 VCC voltage drop. So at this point, non-inverting terminal of your comparator 2, at this point what will be the voltage? 1 by 3 VCC. At this point, that is inverting terminal of comparator 1, what will be the voltage? 2 by 3 VCC. Okay, I'm just not writing VCC. Okay. So now what happens when the voltage across capacitor becomes less than 1 by 3 VCC? That means this trigger voltage will be also less than 1 by 3 VCC. That means the inverting voltage will be less than non-inverting voltage, right? So what will be the output of comparator 2? Anyone?
So,
Yes?
R is 1 and Q is 0.
So output of comparator 2, I am just interested in comparator 2. So since this non-inverting is fixed at 1 by 3 VCC, okay, so it is not varying. But when this voltage becomes less than 1 by 3 VCC, this inverting will be less than non-inverting. Means the negative terminal will be less than positive terminal. So comparator will be equal to 1. Okay. So now this is a one loop. You can say it as a one loop. So I will denote next loop by the blue annotation. So now this high is nothing but what will make the output of comparator 2 is nothing but input to the reset input of your flip-flop. So now reset will be 1. So now what will happen? Your Q will be 0 and Q bar will
0.
be
Q bar 1.
1. That means now Q bar is nothing but your output. So you are changing your state from 0 to, that is low state, to high. Right. So now again this 0 is given to the base of your discharge transistor. So again this will be 0. Since it will become 0, so your transistor will act as a open circuit now, because it will be in cutoff. So in open circuit there will not be any current flowing through this transistor, means there won't be any current flowing through this. So whatever the current is flowing in this direction from VCC to ground, so since no path here, there is no path, no, so only path for the current to flow from VCC to ground will be like this. So this current will flow from RA, then RB, and then eventually it will flow into the capacitor. So if current is flowing into the capacitor, then again capacitor will start charging, right? So now capacitor will start from charging from 1 by 3 VCC. Why? Because initially है ना 1/3 VCC से जब स्लाइटली वेरिएशन होता है आपका, स्लाइटली जब वोल्टेज 1/3 VCC से कम होता है तो सडनली ये लूप कंप्लीट होके फिर आपका कैपेसिटर डिस्चार्जिंग नहीं करेगा, इट विल स्टार्ट चार्जिंग. So this charging will start from 1/3 VCC. Now your capacitor is again charging exponentially. So this was 1/3 VCC. Just right here it is shown. You can observe that lower level is nothing but 1/3 VCC. Now your capacitor will start charging. Okay. Now again the interesting point is, suppose this capacitor will now charge. It will charge from, let's say, towards VCC. Discharging will be always towards 0 volt and charging will be always towards VCC. Now since this capacitor is charging from 1/3 VCC से बढ़ता है, the voltage across it capacitor will increase since it is charging. So one moment will again appear here when this point, when the voltage across capacitor will become greater than 2/3 VCC. एक moment आएगा ना. Okay. So one moment will come when the voltage across capacitor will be greater than, slightly greater than 2/3 VCC. Now at that particular moment you can observe here that voltage across capacitor is nothing but threshold pin. That is pin number 6, that is threshold voltage. And this threshold voltage is nothing but non-inverting terminal of comparator 1. Inverting terminal is already fixed to 2/3 VCC, but now the non-inverting terminal is greater than 2/3 VCC, right? So now the voltage at non-inverting will be greater than voltage at inverting. That means voltage at positive terminal is greater than voltage at negative terminal. That means again the output of your comparator 1 will become 1. And again when this comparator 1 output becomes 1, then again we are coming back to the earlier loop. It is denoted by red annotation. So you can observe here that again since this comparator 1 becomes, output of comparator 1 becomes 1, this is nothing but set will be 1. So again you will get Q equals to 1 and Q bar equals to 0. I will just here write it. That means again your output will be returned back. So again similar thing will happen and similar loop. So what is happening here, that whenever the voltage across this capacitor, when this capacitor is discharging, the voltage across this capacitor is going from 0 to high state, 0 to high state. And whenever the voltage across this capacitor becomes greater than 2/3 VCC, it is returning back to the original state, and this will happen continuously. Okay, so in this way you will get the rectangular wave at the output. So important point you should remember that charging is happening through RA, RB and capacitor, but discharging is happening only through RB and capacitor. Alright. So I don't worry, I will again explain one more time, because once you got this, then you need not to remember anything. Just you need to go with the flow. There is nothing hard here. So don't try to mug up this. Just remember the flow. If someone of you, if I think many of you might be confused, so I will once again repeat this. Okay, so you can just revise that what is the flow. Now we will see one more time. This time it will be little bit fast. All right. So again, while explaining the working, our assumption is that the flip-flop is initially set. So flip-flop initially set means the set input is high, hence the Q will be high and Q bar will be 0. That means your current state is low state, because Q bar is nothing but output. Alright. Then since Q becomes 1 or Q is high, then again the base of transistor will become 1. The transistor is used in saturation region, so it will act as a short circuit. So as soon as this becomes short circuit, the capacitor will start discharge through in this direction. It will start discharging in this direction, and it will, the voltage across this capacitor, this point, the voltage across this capacitor will move towards 0 volt. Discharge हो रहा है मतलब it will move towards 0 volt, whatever may be its initial value. Now this connection is very important. At this connection, the voltage across capacitor is equals to threshold voltage, and it is also okay. Is it visible now? Screen?
Sir.
Okay. So now, since discharging, the capacitor will discharge in this direction. Now the important point you should remember that the voltage across capacitor is nothing but threshold voltage, and it is also your trigger voltage. Okay, so when the capacitor starts discharging, the voltage across capacitor will decrease. So one moment will come when this voltage across capacitor becomes less than 1 by 3 VCC. Okay, 1 by 3 VCC. One moment will come when voltage across capacitor becomes less than 1 by 3 VCC. So now when this happens, what will happen? This voltage across capacitor is nothing but trigger voltage. That means the trigger voltage will be less than 1 by 3 VCC. But we have know from the voltage divider already that this point, it is at 1 by 3 VCC voltage. It is fixed at 1 by 3 VCC. Okay, so the voltage at non-inverting terminal is 1 by 3 VCC, whereas voltage at inverting terminal is now less than 1 by 3 VCC. So since voltage at positive terminal is greater than voltage at negative terminal, the comparator 2 output will be 1. Okay. So now we are again returning to the flip-flop. So I will change the annotation, and now this comparator 2 output is nothing but the reset input of flip-flop. Now your flip-flop will be reset. That means Q will be 0 and Q bar will be 1. So hence your output will change the state from 0 to 1. Now this 0 will make your transistor work in cutoff region, and in cutoff region there won't be any current flow because your transistor will act as an open switch. So there is no discharge path. So what will happen? The discharge path जो था पहले है ना, शॉर्ट सर्किट की वजह से था वो, now it becomes open, so current will not flow. So what will happen? Instead of discharging, the capacitor will start charging in this direction. So since current will flow from VCC to ground. Again, remember the point that discharging is happening from the components capacitor and RB, whereas charging is taking place from RA, RB and capacitor. So now again, since capacitor is now charging, so voltage across this capacitor will increase. So you can observe it will increase exponentially up to the point 2 by 3 VCC. Now when your voltage across capacitor will be slightly greater than 2 by 3 VCC, then what will happen? You can observe that voltage across capacitor is nothing but threshold voltage, and threshold voltage is the non-inverting pin of your comparator 1. So this voltage will be greater than 2 by 3 VCC, whereas the inverting terminal of comparator 1 is fixed at 2 by 3 VCC. इसका भी voltage कितना था? It was fixed. It was fixed to 2 by 3 VCC, but non-inverting terminal voltage will be now greater than 2 by 3 VCC. So the voltage at positive terminal is greater than voltage at negative terminal. So now what will happen? The comparator 1 output will be 1. So now this one will be given to state. So this is the second loop again. So again, what you will get, first loop will again itself repeat one more time. So here it will become 1, it will become 0, and again it will change its state. So similar thing will happen continuously without any external help. तो जैसे ही आप VCC सप्लाई देते हो to this circuit, whenever you are making VCC on, then at the same time what will happen? The output voltage at the output, you can observe this rectangular wave alternating between high state and low state, high low, high low. Okay, so this is the complete working. You can try one more time. You can just go with the flow, and then you can observe the same explanation. So I have already explained you for 2 times, but again आपको नहीं समझ में आया किसी को, so you can always watch the video again, right? So we'll just discuss same points which we have already discussed in this diagram, but those are mentioned here. The working is mentioned here. Okay, so the capacitor voltage is nothing but trigger voltage, right? So while discharging, when it becomes less than 1 by 3 VCC, comparator 2 output goes high. This will reset the flip-flop, hence Q goes low and Q bar goes high. So same we have seen. The low Q makes transistor off, that is in cutoff region. Thus capacitor starts charging through the external resistance Ra, Rb and C. So charging is done with the help of these three components, through these components Ra, Rb and C. The charging path is shown in the thick arrows in the figure. So this is thick arrows, nothing but these arrows. This is the charging path. These are the dotted arrows. Okay. Hence the charging time constant is Ra plus Rb multiplied by C. That means for how many time your capacitor will take for charging, it is called as charging time. मतलब आपका कैपेसिटर कितने टाइम तक चार्ज होगा, so that time is nothing but charging time. So that charging time is given by this constant. This is called as charging time constant, Ra plus Rb into C. So similarly, what happens when the voltage across your capacitor becomes greater than 2 by 3 VCC? It is mentioned in this paragraph. So now the capacitor voltage is also threshold voltage. Yes, we know that. While charging, the capacitor voltage increases, that is threshold voltage increases, and when it exceeds 2 by 3 VCC, the comparator 1 output goes to high, which sets the flip-flop. The flip-flop output Q becomes high and output at pin 3, that is Q bar, becomes low. The high Q drives transistor into the saturation and capacitor starts discharging through the resistance Rb and transistor Qd. Qd is nothing but discharging transistor. This path is shown by the dotted arrow. So discharging path is shown in this arrow. Okay, these are the dotted arrows. Thus discharging time constant. Now since the discharging is taking place from Rb and C, the discharge, there is no role of Ra in discharging, okay, because your capacitor is not going, your current discharging current is not flowing through Ra. So that's why the charging time constant, discharging time constant will be Rb into C only. Here it was, charging time constant was Ra plus Rb into C, because charging was taking place from both resistors. So hence Ra plus Rb was there, but in discharging time constant there is no Ra, so hence it will be only Rb into C. Again, whenever the question has been asked about this stable or monostable, the output waveforms are very important. So in monostable there were three different waveforms. First one was trigger, second one was the voltage across capacitor, and third one was output voltage. Now here there is no trigger, so there will be only two waveforms. So this waveform, you can observe, it is nothing but, it looks like a sawtooth waveform. So this waveform is nothing but capacitor voltage waveform. Okay, first one. And this below waveform is nothing but your output voltage waveform. Okay, so you can observe here that when the capacitor was charging, it was in the high state, right? Capacitor जब आपका charge हो रहा था तब आपका output was, that is Q bar, was high. Okay, and when the voltage across capacitor becomes slightly greater than 2 by 3 VCC, what will happen? It will change its state and capacitor will start discharging. So while discharging, the output was at the low state. So similarly for charging, again high, and discharging it will again low state, high state, low state. Again charging is taking place through Ra and Rb, and while discharging is through Rb only. So this Tc is nothing but charging time, and T suffix D is discharging time. So while charging, your output is on high state, so you can also call it as on time. Okay, and while discharging, the output is at low state, so it is also called as off time, है ना. अगर आपने आउटपुट में एलईडी लगाया तो एलईडी will be on for charging time and it will be off for discharging time. So total time period of this particular wave, total time period क्या होगा, it will be t. It will be the addition of t on plus t off. One complete cycle कैसे आप measure करोगे? Now one complete cycle, suppose you are starting from this point, so one complete cycle will be like this. And now this cycle is repeating, you can observe, यहाँ से यहाँ तक, right? So this cycle will repeat itself. So the time period, time taken by this particular wave to repeat again and again, it is nothing but capital T. It is also called as time period. So time period is nothing but the addition of T on and T off. Okay. So total time period T is nothing but the addition of T on plus T off. But T on is nothing but charging time and T off is nothing but discharging time. So you can also write it as complete time is nothing but charging time plus discharging time. Okay. So if you are having any difficulty until this point in the waveform or in the working, then you can ask me. So just few lines are there. While discharging, when the capacitor voltage becomes less than VCC by 3, comparator to output goes high. Yes, it will reset the flip-flop. This cycle repeats and we'll get a rectangular wave at the output. Figure shows output waveforms of a stable multivibrator. So this is very important diagram. If the question has been asked that explain the working of a stable multivibrator, then you need to draw this diagram. You can also draw this diagram. If you remember, then well and good. Otherwise, this is the most important diagram, and then you need to write the working in on your words. Just you need to keep following the flow. Okay. And then the output waveforms are again very important. From this output waveform only, the examiner or the one who is checking your paper, we can assume that, can verify that your knowledge is clear, the concept is pretty much clear to you. So this is all about a stable multivibrator. So some equations are there, these expressions. Again, the derivation, it involves some derivation, but we are not discussing the derivation. So you need to remember this now. We will take a couple of numerical on stable and monostable in the next session. Okay. So the charging time of capacitor is given by this formula, that is TC. So TC is nothing but 0.693 multiplied by RA plus RB into C. While discharging time, the formula for discharging time is TD equals to 0.693 RB into C. Okay, so there is no RA here, okay, discharging time. You should remember this. In the expression of charging time there is RA, but in the expression of discharging there is no RA. Why this is so? Because the capacitor is discharging through capacitor and resistor RB only, whereas it is charging through RA, RB and C. Thus the complete time for one complete cycle is nothing but capital T. It is equals to charging time plus discharging time. Okay, charging plus discharging will form one complete period of your cycle, and then this cycle will go on repeating itself. So the time period is nothing but capital T. It is equals to TC plus TD. So we have just done the addition, right? So C and 0.693 is taken as common. in these both equations, 0.693 and C. So what will be in the bracket? RA plus twice of RB. यहाँ का RB और यहाँ का भी RB. So that's why you will get the final formula for complete time period of this particular cycle is 0.693 into in bracket RA plus 2RB into C. We know the relation between time period and frequency. What is the relation? कोई बता सकता है? What is the relation between time period and frequency?
Inversely proportional.
Right, they are inversely proportional. That means your frequency is nothing but reciprocal of your time period, f equals to 1 by t. Okay, so when you do that, I have just done that particular thing. Frequency is nothing but 1 by this time period. So these terms are already there in the denominator. You can observe, right? But instead of 0.693 यहाँ पे क्या आ गया? 1.44. Why? Because they have taken here 1.44 as, ये पूरा का पूरा टर्म भी डिनोमिनेटर में जाएगा ना. तो जब आप 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 0.693 करोगे, कोई करके देखो एंड टेल मी द वैल्यू. कैलसी होगा आपके पास 0.693. 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 0.693. डू दिस कैलकुलेशन एंड गिव मी द आंसर. Anyone can?
1.44.
Yes.
1.44.
All right.
4.
So this 1.44 is now they have written on the numerator. So this is how this formula is written. One and the same thing. Okay. So this is the frequency of oscillation. That means if you want to find out what is the frequency of oscillations of the output of a stable multivibrator, then you need to remember this formula. Okay. There is again one small definition of duty cycle. So we will again discuss this particular slide one more time in the next session, and we will solve couple of examples on the astable and monostable multivibrator as well. Okay. So since it is already 12:30 and you have another lecture to attend, so we will just stop here. Then we will conclude our today's discussion here. So if you are having any doubt, then you can ask. Otherwise, we will conclude our session today. Okay, thank you.